welcome everyone to the press conference relating to the General Assembly of Volt Europa in Lisbon. We just concluded over the weekend, and we have some very exciting news to share because there's big goals ahead of us. The speakers today will be the two co-presidents. One of them you've known for quite a long time, and the other one is freshly elected. So welcome Francesca, and welcome Reinier. I will now hand over the text to you. Afterwards, we're going to have time for a few questions, and anytime you have any questions, also reach out to us, the communications team, to answer any questions you might have. So Francesca, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It is very exciting for me to be here today, to be able to talk to you and share a bit about myself. So this is what I'm gonna do. Like, you know, we just met, so I'm gonna introduce a bit who I am and what I stand for. So as you know, I've been newly elected as female co-president. I am a member of Volt since 2019, and I joined because in that time, well, even now, but in that time, I had a very specific country-related reason to get involved in politics. So I'm Italian, and in 2018, we got an election where a populist party took power, forming a government with a far right-wing party. And so, you know, I've always loved politics, but I've never been actively involved. When that happened, things started getting a bit rough, in my opinion. And so, you know, I turned on to the progressive side of the parliament, and I find out that there is really no political criticism. There is more like some sort of twisted making fun of this government because it's made of people who are not very well educated, who are coming from a working class background. And I found that to be not very progressive, honestly. I think that having a low education is a social tragedy that we need to take care of, and not something that we just need to make fun of or condemn in any way. If, you know, I'm an Erasmus kid, I'm 34. And of course, then I turn on to Europa, which I consider my home, and I see that things are not better over there because the populist way is really taking over in general. And so in that moment, as my fellow colleagues did in Volt, I just decided to take over some responsibility because nobody is coming to save us. And so we need to save ourselves, let's say, to take responsibility for where this continent is going, considering the huge power it has to influence the rest of the world. When it came to candidate for the position of co-president, it was pretty much the same sentiment, let's say. So the willingness of taking over even more responsibility to guide the next 2 years of the party towards the 2024 European elections, considering our project for that specific moment, about which we can speak more later. I'm just gonna leave the word to you, Reinier, so I don't take over a lot of time.
Thanks, Francesca. Let me start off by saying that I'm incredibly happy with the new team, and I really look forward to collaborating closely with everyone here. You may be wondering while you're watching this, who are all these other people in this meeting as well? Well, this is the new board of Volt Europa, the ones that are elected this weekend. So I'll quickly show. Firstly, here we have Johannes, our new treasurer from Switzerland. Then we have around the room, Robin. He's actually not in the European board, but in the European comms team. So he's here to help out for this meeting. And next to him is Lucia Nas, who lives in France. Then I think on the screen we see Thor. Thor is from Denmark. And next to Thor is Ines, who is a member of Volt Italia, but living in Poland and also with a Portuguese background. So you cannot get more European than that. And we have Charles, who is now dialing in from France, and Anouk from the Netherlands. and Lucas from Austria. So a very cool European team, and I'm incredibly excited for the coming 2 years. So as you may know, I was the co-president of Volt Europa in the past 2 years as well. And I decided to try and go for another term. And I'm happy that the members of Volt gave me the vote of confidence to continue. And why did I do that? Well, 4 years ago in 2017, I joined Volt because I was concerned about the developments I saw in Europe. And ever since then, actually, the confidence in the ability for Volt to be the solution for those problems increased. And I think that if you look at the challenges we face together, more international cooperation is the only logical answer to solve those challenges. And there are other geopolitical forces that are also enhancing the importance of Volt. So as I described it this weekend, Volt is like is surfing on a wave, and the wave is getting bigger and bigger underneath us. I also decided to run again because I truly believe in our mission, I truly believe in our vision, and I'm inspired by the people I see around me and the work they do, and how individuals are empowered to take on responsibility, and how all those individual actions combine into something that's larger than the sum of the parts. And that's really inspiring, from seeing somebody in Italy in a small village being elected to the local council, to how we as a voluntary movement collected relief supplies for refugee camps in Moria, or how in the European Parliament we are working on new legislation to have more welcoming migration policies. So all these things inspire me to continue. And the most inspiring thing is not the impact we have or the individuals I see, but the impact I think we can have. I think that with Volt we have a lot of potential, and we now have a team to try and get that potential to full fruition. So I'm excited for the next 2 years, and this is why I ran again. But I think what we want to stress now is basically explaining to you where we are today and where we want to go. So Francesca, perhaps you can elaborate on where we are today.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you very much. It's very cool that you also introduced the rest of the team. I was not sure when we were gonna do this, but hopefully we can dive into that even more later. So Volt is a little more than 4 years old now, and it's a long-term project. So we started out as an idea that then became something more real, with at the moment about 20,000 members across Europe. This means volunteers working tireless, and a lot of them also, you know, specifically in this room, have a background of working really on the ground, let's say, to build city teams, to build policies, to build teams, because our idea is to be spread out around the continent, so that we can really be the grassroots movement that we were born to be. We have this ambition to be a force that pushes for change, for good change, let's say, both inside and outside institutions. So Rainier mentioned one moment ago the project Eurocares. Eurocares is going to become an NGO on their own, but it's a project that was actually born inside Volt to help refugees in Moria camps when the COVID crisis exploded. So there is this kind of soul, let's say, of the movement, bringing real change to real people, support to those who are in need, but at the same time, of course, also acting inside the institution. And in this respect, you might know that we are, of course, in the European Parliament. We got these great results at the beginning of our life as a party, but then build on that, having elected members in the Dutch National Assembly, as well as in municipalities in Portugal, in Italy, in Bulgaria, and in Germany, where we actually participated very recently in elections in 3 of these countries. So Volt it's becoming a center of gravity for other progressive forces in Europe. And this is what I aspire to do, to really join forces with those who share our cause. Another interesting example, and something that was announced this weekend that I'm very, very happy to be telling you today, this is very exciting news, is the fact that we are gonna join forces with Neokima in Cyprus. This means we will become one, let's say, with them, forming Volt Cyprus in a path that is starting today, but of course is going to continue for some years, and participating as well in the presidential elections in 2023. And same goes for another big news that has been given this week during the assembly, which is that the MEP Francisco Guerreiro from the Portuguese from Portugal is going to join Volt at the end of his mandate. He's at the moment in the same group as Volt is, so the Greens, but he has he has a shared his commitment is shared and aligned with Volt's values, so we're going to welcome him in our family very soon. This is just to say that the idea is really to group forces to create something that involves a lot of people, and becomes the center of gravity of a change that we want to bring forward. I think I took quite some time, so I don't really want to monopolize this. Rainier, if you want to add something, or otherwise we can go ahead.
Yes, thanks. It was such an amazing weekend. I really enjoyed it. Perhaps you may see that we are a little bit tired because we slept little, but we had so much fun, and we discussed important things about the future of Volt as well. And the successes with Francesco Guerreiro and Neokima are great milestones for us that made this weekend even better. So with Volt, we have the vision for Europe that we want to create a society where everybody has equal opportunities to fulfill their unique potential, and where we have the highest standards of human, technological, environmental, economical developments. And we think that the only way to achieve that society is by building a European democracy, a European parliamentary democracy. And if we become the first truly pan-European political representation in the European Parliament, then we think that is an important stepping stone towards achieving that goal of a European democracy and achieving that vision for a European society that's more just and socially equal. And in order to do that, we need to participate in as many countries as possible during European Parliament elections and get 25 MEPs elected from 7 different countries. The rules of the European Parliament are set up in such a way that you can then form your own political group. And it would be the first that the political party that actually is in the European Parliament that way will be campaigning on an electoral program that's exactly the same in all those countries. I mean, Volt has done that as a unique thing for the first time in 2019 with success, because we got 1 European parliamentary member in, but of course he joined the Greens, and therefore they had other political party programs. Well, our intention is that with this electoral program being the same everywhere, getting 25 MEPs elected and executing that. And with that, we set an important step towards European politics and towards having a European Union that's a better reflection of the people that are living in Europe, and that they're more closely connected. So we elected the group that is going to set the entire organization, the entire movement up for achieving that result in the coming years. I have introduced this group to you just now, but actually I think it's going to be way more exciting if everybody in the group also has the opportunity to say something themselves. So if that's, I'm looking at the moderator of this call, if that's okay with him too. I see that Cornelius is nodding, and Robin, you agree with that as well?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So let me then go in the same circle I did just before and start with Johannes.
Sure. Yeah. I'm equally excited as Reinier to be a part of this group and to tackle the challenges that lie ahead of us. And I'll be in the role of the treasurer, and therefore also the topics that I focus on are the professionalization of our organization. And that's something that's very dear to me. Over the past 10 months, I've been working as the General Secretary of Volt Europa already. So I have some experience within Volt, and that's also what has motivated me to stand up for the office. And I'm really excited to be a part.
Maybe if we go to Lucia next, we should change the mute and unmute. So if you could.
All right, mic's working. So yeah, Lucia here. I joined Volt around the European elections. At that time, still living and working in Nepal on promoting democratization with civil society and local governments in different countries. So that democratic experience that I've gained 35 years working outside of Europe, and then COVID bringing me back to Europe. Landing actively in Volt with community team, work on our new manifesto, for which we use the citizen assembly approach that I've helped shape and guide a bit. So very pleased to be represented on the board. I think I bring a lot of experience also with becoming more inclusive and diverse, which is something we're striving for geographically, but also in identity. And I hope with my silver hair to also bring a bit of calm to the team. And yeah, looking forward to that.
I'm guessing you're deciding how to unmute. Okay.
Thank you so much. As you can hear, we've been talking quite a lot over this weekend, so my voice is off. And it has been so great just to be able to meet everybody again this weekend. The last year was in Sofia. 2 years later, we've got a new and strong and confident board, and I am so happy for the work ahead of us. Ines and I have been working as policy co-leads for the last year and a half. And that is a big part of also what we are focusing on in this new board, the European Parliament elections for 2024, a shared and united election program for all of our Volt chapters. Hopefully, at least 25 MEP seats from 7 chapters. My own hope is to have 30 from 10. So, but don't hold me up to that. And of course, a big review of our tech infrastructure, of our platforms, of our tools. We need to unite, and we need to be one voice, and we need to have one community. And that's all, of course, part of what we're going to work on in this new board.
Okay, so Ines here. So as Reinier anticipated, answering the question of where I come from is very complicated, but my dad is Italian, my mom's Portuguese. I was born in Porto. I was raised in a very international household. I was raised bilingual. It was really important for my parents that, and now I live in Warsaw, Poland. So yeah, that's why it's so complicated and it takes me 5 minutes, but I'm really excited to work on this board. I do have to say that I'm very emotional still with all the women that I'm going to get to work with, because they are truly amazing, and many of them have been mentors and people that I admire. I have to say our current president, Francesca, just showed a lot of women that we can truly do anything. Again and again, she just proved that, because she works, she's a young mom, she helped with campaigns across Europe, and so I think her story is so empowering and so important, and it's truly an honor to work with a person of this fiber. I really hope that until 2024, we are able to do housekeeping within Volt and make our organization internally stronger. and that we truly become a diverse, inclusive, and equal party, because there are a lot of movements out there that say they are that, but they don't actually make any efforts to achieve that. And I think we have so many resources and so many great people. We just have to make decisions and have the willingness and courage to get there. So when we get to 2024, people look at us across Europe and they are like, here is a truly pan-European movement. Here's a movement that, you know, is able to capture the heart and the attention of all people. So that is my hope. I'm super excited. And yeah, I think who wants to go next? Anouk, maybe?
Yes, thank you. I'm really honored to be on the new European board and working with this team together here. I've been working as the General Secretary for the past almost 2 years. My highlight actually yesterday was being on stage with all of the functional leads and seeing everyone cheer for them and thank them for all the work they have done. It made me extremely proud. Their work was also captured in all of the action plans for 2022, which was part of the budget that got approved. So with that, I think we are off to have a smooth sailing, because this time we can really have the chance as a board to get to know each other, to make sure that we are a team, while we already can push on the work that we already agreed of with our members on what to do with the internal organization. So I think we have a really good start where we can empower our movement through the leads, and with that, all the members that we have.
So thanks. I joined Volt because I think it is a place with a lot of diversity and inclusion. What I mean with those as well is, for example, I am actually originally, I'm Austrian, but I'm originally a member of Volt Rome when I was working at the UN there. When I first heard of Volt, I was like, that sounds something for me, because Austrian who doesn't speak Italian, I have no place in Italian politics. But suddenly with Volt, I'm European, I speak European languages, I can be active across Europe. That's empowering, really. But what I've been mostly campaigning and tried to do for the past 2 years in Volt is mostly raising our election capacities. What I think it is which is very underrated within Volt, is the fact that, for example, small parties, when they don't do well in elections, sometimes that's it for them. They don't get active. Sometimes they just break apart. But for example, Volt, sometimes we can have a good election, and sometimes an election we don't have any new mandates. But because we are much bigger than just one country, it gives us a lifeline that continues for a long, long time. And with that, gives us a secret power of actually learning from all of those elections, building our capacities all over the continent. So we can actually, the next time we're actually in the same election, we're doing much better. We have all those skills. So just one bad election or 2 bad elections is not going to kill us, and it's just empowering us. So that's why I actually think it's great because it diversifies, empowers us, and it creates a space of citizens across Europe who's just learning from each other. And really, we need to take a much, much harder punch for us to die.
Charles, on to you.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. Charles here, coming to you live from Paris. So, I'm really excited to work with this amazing team. To tell you a bit about myself, I'm French, but I was born and grew up in the UK. So part of the reason why I joined Volt is similar to the one Francesca gave, because sadly, many countries in Europe suffer from the same problems. And yeah, I was in the UK when Brexit took place, being very close to France and now living in France, I got to see the far right acting as one of the largest parties in France, and essentially it being taken for granted that the far right is the party that will always participate in the second round against whoever stands against them. And so, in the face of this rise of nationalism and populism, Volt gave me real hope. And so that's why I joined it 3 years ago. And now I'm really excited to work with a team with many different backgrounds and coming from all parts of Europe. In terms of what I hope to achieve, what I hope we can achieve together in the next 2 years, like Thor said, there's a lot of work to be done in terms of our tech infrastructure. 2024 is just around the corner, and there's a lot of work to be done to prepare for it, to make sure that as many countries as possible can participate, and so that many of them can succeed. And yeah, finally, I think there's still a lot of potential for Volt throughout Europe, and so also helping teams to setting them up and making sure that we have a strong presence in all corners of Europe. And so I think we have a great team to get all these things done, and I look forward to working together to achieve them.
Thanks, and that's our team in a nutshell. I'm confident that we have a team that can bring us forward the next 2 years and prepare us for that goal that we united behind. Thanks everybody for checking this out. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or comments or suggestions. You're more than welcome to. And perhaps Francesca, you want to say some final words before we close the recording.
Thank you very much. But I think really this get together that we did speak per se. I have heard a lot of interesting stories and people that I'm really looking forward to work with. I, of course, had already met you all, but I gotta say is this is the first, so for those who are watching, this is the first time we get together after the election. So we got elected, the movement exploded. We did a great, an amazing party, but then today's the day after and we're getting together for the first time. So you can feel that willingness, of really starting. We all have ambitious goals. We all have our idea of how to get there. But most of all, I feel that this is going to be a board that is going to be willing to collaborate for real and to achieve shared goals. So I'm very, very proud to be able to be the president together with Rainier of this very special group of people. We are gonna give some more information later, but meanwhile we will start working and understand how to work with each other, which is equally important. But it has been a very, very special moment to be here with you. And yeah, thank you for watching. We're available for questions, for suggestions, for feedbacks, and that's all, I believe.